Hey everyone, welcome back to the live stream this week, and hope you guys had a great weekend. We're talking about upholstery today, and specifically the rear columns of a Ford Transit van. So the back of this Ford Transit, we have these rear columns, and sometimes it can be challenging to upholster these. So I've got a really awesome fabric that I've used in a bunch of builds. So mine, Marine One, and this stuff is called 4-way stretch fabric. We've talked about it in the live stream before, but if you don't know what this is, it's a thick fabric. It's typically used for speaker boxes and stuff like that, and it has almost like a memory. So in the name, 4-way stretch means you can actually tug this in a couple different directions, and when you let go, it will keep whatever form that you had. And this is really good for a bunch of van components. So let me grab this foam piece over here. So this is a really, this piece right here is this is the airbag cover. So this is a challenging piece to actually upholster because you got all these different contours, holes and stuff like that. So something that can be stretched around these different areas. Flat areas are easy to upholster, but when you go over a bend and you have this dip, you'll need to have less material in this section, and then when you come over to these spots where it goes wider, you'll need to actually stretch the fabric out to come over this. So what I use is this 4-way stretch fabric in those hard to reach places, and it makes it much easier to get a nice professional look. There's different ways you can install this. So obviously we're going to be using our Super 77 spray adhesive. But what we're going to be talking about today is how we upholster it, how we're going to cover up these holes, where we're going to start, and then how we're going to move this trim off of here, this gasket from Ford, and make sure it goes back in place. So I've got a couple notes here just to show you what's going on. Yeah, wrapping rear columns, we're going to need the 4-way stretch fabric like we just talked about. This foil tape, it's technically called duct tape. It's the metal tape, not the fix everything type duct tape. So sometimes it's called foil tape, sometimes it's called duct tape, but it's the actual metal tape. So if you look like this, this is what we're going to use. And then the Super 77 adhesive, that is from 3M. That stuff is awesome. You'll need a couple razors. I'm going to use a big one and a small one. We need a marker. So the reason that we need a marker is because we need to trace the back of this gasket before we take it off, so we know where it meets up. Now, if you're using a thinner upholstery fabric, you could actually take this gasket and put it and slide it overlapping the upholstery. This material is almost a 1/4 inch thick, so we can't put it underneath this because it would push this gasket out and it wouldn't seal well. So we want to make sure we don't mess that up. Then the plastic, we're just going to make sure we don't mess the van up. Now the piece of upholstery that we're using is over here on the right. So this is some dimensions, just to give you an idea. So I bought this off of Amazon, and I'll find the link here in just a minute. But let's see, 27, we got 30, 40. So it's 40 inches by 168 inches. That is what the material we're working with. Over here on this side, this rear side, our first piece we're going to start off with is the longest, so it'll be 168 inches by 13. And that'll be our primary one that we use to change the color here. Yeah, so we'll use this one first, and then so this is going to be our thing that we cut out first to use in the van. And then this one will be our extra for the rear of the van to complete it. And the nice thing about this fabric is since it's so thick, it's really good to hide a seam, so you don't have to really overlap it. You can just neatly cut it and lay it right up next to each other. And the thickness is what kind of merges that gap or takes it away. Yeah, so we're going to use this and we're going to use this. This right here, that is going to be saved for the foam piece. It protects the airbag area in the driver's side, and then this piece is going to be the passenger side. And then this piece right here, this is just extra. It's possible that this is long enough if you wanted to put this on the passenger sliding door right column. So just heads up. But the good news is we've got enough. This is the material. This is what we're want to make sure that we cover. Now we're not going to do these today. These take a while. We'll do those separately. We're just going to get this rear upholstered. Now the reason that we're doing this right now is because inside the van we have the ceiling that is being finalized. So I need this upholstery in the rear to be done because this top ceiling panel, we're actually going to slide it backwards and go right up against the the ceiling that we put in, the cedar ceiling, is going to come out and go right up against the fabric. That way we have a nice professional seam. So we got to do that first before we can put the ceiling panel in, before we can put the cedar in. And then the same thing goes for these side panels. These side panels are, when they, these interior panels, when they get upholstered, they're going to lay on top of this four-way stretch fabric here. Same with the lower panels. So this needs to be done so that the other panels can get in. And it's all part of all the layers of putting a van together. But yeah, we're going to actually take the fabric and we're going to come up and over and then down. So the fabric, we're a little short, but I said the seam can be hidden really well, so it'll look like nothing ever happened. But what we want to do is we want to completely cover these big holes, and then when we come down here, we don't want the fabric to go half of this gap, so it's going to come up a little higher. So we'll only need a piece about from here to finish up this bottom side. Now you could do this a bunch of different ways. You could pull it up and you could cut it and then bring the second half down. The problem is instead of having one seam, you're going to have two seams. And that's just with using this product. If you were using a different product, it's possible you could have longer area to work with. But I know how it looks when it's finished, and I'm happy with it. Also, we'll be taking these covers off of the top. Sometimes they can be hard to take off. So we're going to go ahead and take this one off. We'll take this one off. And so pull down on the back, and then just be careful. There's the back edge of this metal is sometimes sharp. But for this, we'll just slice, and then we'll pull the carpet around it. And then when we're finished, we can just put this over the carpet, and it'll look super pro. So the first thing that we actually need to do is we need to cover up all the holes in on the side. Now, I've seen some builders or DIY kind of get complex with this and then cut out individual pieces of aluminum flashing to put over it. But I don't think that's necessary. I've used this tape, this foil tape, and it does a really good job because this fabric is so thick, we're not going to have the issue of when we go to push this on, having all these dips where the contours of all these holes are. So this will do a good job doing that. It's pretty much just not allowing the adhesive to go through the holes. And I keep this, I don't cover these. Some people actually cover these holes. I don't do it because if in the event that say you get like an fender bender or something happens to where you crack this and you need to get to the plugs to put like a new lamp in, a rear tail light, you can just cut this with a razor, and you can have access to these wires instead of having to have a piece of metal cover this. So if you need to get to it, you can. Same thing, there's a opening in the top. That is your opening for your electrical, for your rear tail light and the rear view camera. And then over here, you've got all your plugins, additional plugins for not only this tail lamp. So those 3 sections, in the future, it's just convenient to be able to access those cables. So we're only going to cover it, we're going to cover it with this tape that's easy to cut in the future, and then just the carpet. So things to keep in mind. Before we put the tape on, we need to go ahead and take our gasket off. And what you want to do is just grab some nitrile gloves, because the adhesive that Ford uses, it's like this black tar adhesive, and it's pretty messy. So to make sure that we start where we left off, so we can take the gasket off and then put it back on in the same place, because it's kind of found its home where these bends are. So we want to start it back where we take it off. And to do that, we've just taken some masking tape, and up here in this middle part, we just wrapped it with masking tape, and then this is letting us know that this is where it starts. Then we're just going to pull it back. But before we do that, the last thing we need to do is take a marker and just do a quick outline on the inside. And that's going to get us when we go to glue the fabric down, we'll know not to go past this black permanent marker. And it's just a reference line. It doesn't have to be too perfect, but you'll need to peel back this inner gasket. So don't take it off. Just peel this back, and it might be hard to see. See this right here? There's like a flap. So you pull the flap back, and that gives you access to see what actually grips it on the door. And we're going to need to find a marker that's not all dried up. A fine point marker would probably be better, but I've just got these other ones in the shop, so we're just going to trace. And we'll use our right hand to just peel back that seal. And be careful, because there's a lot of extremely sharp little fragments where the spot welds are behind here, and they will cut your hand really bad. And we're not going on the bottom, so we don't have to worry about that. So we'll just come up here on the top. And make sure your gasket is pushed in all the way, so you know how much to actually bring it out. Like I said, this is important when you're doing thicker fabric, because if the seal doesn't go on, this is pretty much the only thing that waterproofs the back of your van from rain coming in. So yeah, make sure you're not having so much carpet that you can't push the gasket back in. So once we do that, we're going to move on to taking it off. So right here in the middle, we've got this masking tape. And we're just going to peel it back. And you can see all that tar stuff is kind of all over the place. And let's see if it can hang out right here. In a minute, we'll pull our plastic out so we can cover this so we don't get overspray on it. By the way, if you guys have any questions, ask me in the chat, and yeah, I will answer your questions. It doesn't have to be on the upholstery that we're doing today. It can be anything van related. I'm gonna move the camera in just a little bit so you guys can see a little bit closer view of what I'm taping up here in the van. It's also good to do this now before you've put the final floor in, because we can have the carpet go below the floor half an inch, and it just makes it look really professional. A professional install. A benefit to sealing these holes up is we make sure that we don't have that transfer of air. So we don't have the cold air coming through these holes that's in the columns itself and getting into the van. So this foil tape will seal it up. Bring this in just a little bit closer. If you guys are wondering what this big panel right here is, this is going to be part of the bed system. So there's going to be two of these panels, and they're going to be, we're going to have a rib nut on each side. So we got 4 rib nuts on this side, 4 on the other side, and then this will be bolted to the wall of the van. Then it'll be coupled with a 1/4 inch of the interior panels. And then this will be our one side support for our bed system that you guys will see coming up soon. Something that I did off camera was I went ahead and did all the cable management for all the wires, the Ford factory wires in the ceiling. So these wires here and here, they go up through the column. I've pulled them tight and I've zip tied them on the driver's side and the passenger side. Because once this all gets sealed in and this gets sealed in, we won't have access to that anymore. And so while we have access, we just want to make sure that we're knocking everything out as we go. So on these long stretches, we want to make sure that we have this foil nice and tight. So don't pull it too tight because it will tear. because it is basically just a thin piece of foil. But I just do one in the middle and then two on the sides. And then when I come back in with the carpet, it'll just be nice and just go nice and easy on the install. But you guys will see all of it live here, and you won't miss anything. And the 4-way stretch is nice, especially for a beginner or DIYer, because the thickness of the material is what allows it to cover up all these little imperfections here, all these bumps. But essentially what we're doing is we're just sealing these holes up so moisture and air don't come through. Now, I did this method with a 4-way stretch fabric for the whole back of my van. So the bump outs on my van, I actually put a huge piece of 4-way stretch fabric, and I did minimal insulation, but that's how I could get the maximum width. And it just takes the cold off the metal if you're not wanting to completely insulate the back of your van. It's just nice where, like in the nighttime, if you bump up against this column, because the bed's going to stem back here, when you touch it, it's not going to be freezing cold in the winter, or hot in the summer. So that's kind of what that looks like down there, and then we just keep going. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just really all we want to make sure we do is seal the holes up. As you're going up the van, don't forget the inside. There's a bunch of holes here on the inside. So with the big openings, you can double up on everything. One thing you can't see back here is in the ceiling where I have the factory wiring harness, what I do is I take 1-inch strips of the sound deadening material, so the kill mat in this case, and what I do is I will use that to adhere the cables to the roof. And I do that because I don't want the cables rattling after the whole entire ceiling goes in. So it's just a way to, it holds them up better way while you're zip tying everything. But in the areas where you don't have a zip tie, you can use the sound deadening material to actually secure it to the ceiling. And I do that with all the wires. So the rear, we'll even do it with the AC wire, anything like that. It's just a easy way to take the noise away and then also hold everything together while you're doing cable management. So as I'm doing this, I'm going through my checklist, and I just realized that on the passenger side, we're gonna have to open that back up before we actually complete this upholstery install, because we need to run the cable for the Wolfbox rear camera. So we're gonna have to, after we tape all this, we'll stop and we'll do that. But you guys might be interested in how to do it. So it's not the driver's side door, is not the one that has the wire that goes to the back, it's the passenger door. So we'll just rip off that foil, go ahead and run that wire, and then we'll tape it back up. And that's the nice thing about the foil, is you can just redo it. Whereas if you had actually, used some marine adhesive on some flashing, aluminum flashing, you'd have to be a little bit more difficult to fix a mistake. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're upholstering the back of the Ford Transit. So these rear columns, that can be sometimes a challenge to do, but I'm going to show you how to do it. This will be a long stream, so if you have any questions, just put that in the chat. I'm actually also going to pull a wire for the rear camera, the backup camera. The secondary backup camera, I guess I would say. So this van has a Wolfbox, which is a dash cam, but in the style of a rear view mirror. And what you can do is you can buy an additional rear view mirror camera, and that'll allow you to, while you're driving, have live footage of who's behind you when you're driving your van in the places you can't see. And I was talking earlier that once we wrap everything up, we can't access that. And the last thing on my list was that Wolfbox, but just a second ago I taped over it, so I'm just going to pop the tape off and then I'll get back to that. But we're going to finish up taping this first, just so that we can check it off the list. Now for this upholstery, I measured it at 13 inches, and that's going to go from our widest point here, and it's going to stay wide, and then it'll come into our closest point over here. If I were you, I did it at 13. I'd probably would recommend to you that you get a 14-inch piece. It's a little close. But I already cut it, so I'm going to be okay with it. But if you are doing this for the first time, that extra inch might help you out just a little bit. All right, so what I just did there behind the scenes is there's a cable on the inside of here, and if you're able to access it and zip tie it down or put some type of, what am I trying to say, sound deadening tape on it or whatever, you just don't want, when you're going over bumps, to like the cables to rattle on the inside. So I just zip tied it to the wall, to the column, that's going to allow it to not make any noise. All right, back over here, let's figure out, we're changing task for a second. We're going to figure out how to get this rear camera cable wired. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. I will come back here and fix this. But you can see this is very tough. So it's a pretty good solution. So we're just going to cut this open. I think it's a good solution. So now we have access to this. Get all our sharp edges, and I'm going to see if I can pop these cables off, because what I need to do is I'm going to unplug them. I just need these temporarily out of the way so I can get to this. Okay, so now I just pulled them out so that I can get my hand up in here. All right, there we go. I'm grabbing my tools to take off panels. Panel removal tools. You don't want to break these on the back door. They're a specific one, as far as I know. And the last time I ordered them, you pretty much have to buy, I think it's like a pack of 4 or 10. I forgot how much. It's possible that the ones from like Advanced Auto Parts might work if you break them, but I like to get the Ford ones if I can. Okay. See how many casualties we had. I think we just got one. We just got one right here. So we're going to go ahead and glue that, and then that way we can pop it back in, we'll be ready to go. And all I'm using to repair this is super glue. Super glue, and I set a paint bucket on it. The plastic on those snaps is extremely fragile, so don't be too hard on yourself if you do break these tabs. It's just, the plastic is really fragile plastic. All right, so I'm grabbing our Wolfbox kit. I'm just gonna grab everything, that way I show you what it is, if you're wondering. So this is the rear view mirror screen, and then what I did is I got fancy and I found a manual Ford Transit rear view mirror, because they have, of course, a proprietary mount to the special windshield. So if you have a question about that, just let me know. This is the kit that allows you to do a direct wiring. So it has a fuse tap that you can tap into a fuse panel under the dash. So that was extra, we bought that. Then we have, this is some mounting hardware. This is a GPS antenna. I believe it just does the speed. This will be the extension cable to extend our camera all the way to the front, because we need it. And we got some more stuff in this box. And then this is our camera kit. So this is a rear view mirror camera, and then you buy this license plate mounting bracket. Our main goal is to do this. So we'll probably put this camera on, and then we'll do the license plate mounting bracket. So to take this off, this is a vapor barrier for the Transit. So you can see that's why back here on the back side of this panel, we paint that for the upholstery, just in case you get some moisture on there. That's a good idea. So if you're wondering why Ford does this, it's just kind of like a little thing for moisture, because the back here, if we were to take this plastic off, and we take all of our fittings out and we pop them out, there'd be a hole open to this on the inside. But this is like a tar, kind of like just a tar. It's hard to explain. It's almost like the window well, just a little bit, but maybe different material. But what we need to do is we are going to have to find a way to get the cable to the back there. Now, this live stream might go sideways because I do all this stuff live in the shop. So we were doing upholstery. I will show you how to do that. But I need to knock this out first so I think you guys get the point. So if you're working on a van by yourself, doing DIY, you're going to run into a bunch of this, and it's not a bad thing, but some of the tasks you'll start to on a task and then you'll need to get sidetracked onto another one. So it seems like it's taken forever, but there's just a lot of details about a custom van. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this off. So open the door. Let's see here. All right, if you have a Ford Transit, whatever you do, this is okay in this scenario, but don't shut the right door first because the clasp on the passenger door will dent your metal right here. So this is nice and clean. Want to keep it that way. Move this camera down. Yeah, so we'll have to order a bunch on this back piece because these are all breaking off. Yeah, even on a new van, they are so fragile. But they're very easy to repair. You just snap them in because what's breaking is not this, and it's not what it goes in. It's this little piece of plastic. This is a little piece of plastic right here, like that. So. Now you may ask, why am I doing this? Why don't I just like cut a hole in it? Because I want to do it the right way. So I want to make sure that I have a nice centered hole cut in. I can pull the wire out, get the camera. I've got room to work. So you can see here, see how just the all these these pieces of plastic, they just shatter very easy. Okay. So it looks like we've got a plastic cap here and here. So you guys can see here, these are the pieces of plastic. So we just order a bag of them. We just pop them all in, snap it back on. Okay, so we've got a piece of plastic here and here that we can use to feed the wire in. So let's see. Now we're gonna let this dangle right here. Actually, I don't know if I want to do that. See if I can pop this out. Maybe go a little lower. Okay, we're just going to be easy with it. Okay, get our door locked back in place. And this stuff will stick back to itself pretty well, so I'm not really worried about it. You guys can see it comes off and it stays sticky. So you want it to come off like that, kind of like cleanly. Now this van does not have a rear speaker system. So if it did, this is where the speaker would be. And don't get rid of this stuff, keep it, and then just kind of, kind of smush it back like it was. There you go. Just keep this. I want to keep it clean, so just put it somewhere where it's not going to get dust and dirt on it. All right, what can we access over here? So it looks like we've got like 3 options on getting this wired. So I want to feed the wire through this. It may not be possible, but I'm going to try. So there's 2 arrows on this camera system, and I'm just going to get the camera out of the way. We'll do that very last. We don't want to be messing with the camera. So this is the end. Okay, so this is what I need to get through that, which is probably going to be pretty challenging, but we're gonna try. So there's a plastic grommet with some like plastic snaps. Okay, that came out. And let's see if we can go through here. This work is kind of like you're blindfolded and you can't, you gotta see with your hands. You gotta think of what, how this thing gets taken apart. There's one more snap, I just can't get it. No, that's not gonna work. Okay. We got it, and we didn't break anything. That's good. Let's see if we can do this. Now this has a red cap on it, so I'm just gonna memorize in my head that red is right. And we're gonna take this harness out. Okay. Now be careful with this cable. This cable is the part of your unlock mechanism, as well as this one. So now this is taking long because we want to reuse these. we don't want to break these. These need to go back in their place, but what I need is, I need to be able to, I need to pull this out. There's a gasket that goes from here all the way in. And so if you cheat, what you'll see people do is they'll stab a hole in here to get the wire through. But the problem is if there's water that comes in here, and this is like this, then this can fill up with moisture. So there's a little button here. Okay, so this snap comes off. Just let that sit right there. Now we can be able to probably open this and pull down. There we go. Okay. All right. How much more slack do I got? To be honest, that really didn't help. All right, we got enough. So I just want to be able to get to here so I can take this tape off from Ford. You guys maybe can't see that. See, we want to take this factory electrical tape off. And you won't be able to reuse that, so just forget about that. And now we should have a little bit of room to open up that and cross our fingers that we can route our cable through here. So. Oh, so this plug on the right side, I think, is what we're going to go with. So this one, where'd you go? Okay, so this little cap, just like a little cap right there. Let's see, I might change my mind. Well, let's see here. Yeah, I think we're going to go with the big plug. So let's just put this back in there. Okay. So that's just a plastic cap. And then, so this one, we're going to do that one. Because that one, we've got the license plate here. So if I come straight down right there, let's see what the mounting bracket and everything looks like when we sandwich this all together. So the camera's going to go like that. So what I'm doing is, pretty much anything in the van, you really got to think about, you know, how it's interacting, and then how it's interacting with everything. But then also, when you snap everything back together, you just want to make sure that, you know, wires are not being pinched, because, well, you just don't know until you take it off. For example, I wanted to do this, but then there's this dip here. So the wire's going to have to come across and then get pinched by this gap. And so I'll do all this work, and it may not snap on, and maybe have a little bulge here. So move on to this one, this little removable cap. But this one's nice because it's below this stud, and below the stud is an open area. So the wire is going to be able to freely come up. And then that stud is where this hole is for the license plate frame itself. So I just put the frame up here, and between these two stud snaps, I just scored a line for my middle, scored a line for where this mounting bracket is going to be located. And then I just go up from it, and I'm pretty much, looks like I'm going to use maybe probably a 1/4 inch drill bit to get this wire through. But this wire needs to come over to the right and then go through the hole. Because I don't do janky. If something looks half done, then I don't do it. So I want to make sure that when it's all put back together, you put the license plate on, it just looks super pro. And this is the way you achieve it. So it takes a little bit longer, but it's the better way to do it. Also, if you want to get really fancy, what you can do is we can score the inside of this cap, and we can actually feed the wire through it, and then we'll have actually a little bit of a vapor water seal, because water comes down through here, and you can actually see right here where these drips are, and it comes down behind the plastic and then drips if it's in a really hard rain. So that's why Ford puts these little weather caps around here. So that's why it's really important to ventilate your van while you're using it. It's okay to have it closed in, you know, we're using it, but, you know, always every now and then open up the windows, vent the van out, because there's a, you know, I seal the holes in the floor, but any type of snaps like this, so for example, Ford will attempt, this little rubber gasket is what technically seals this hole, but sometimes, like this one, for example, is just this piece of plastic, so technically moisture can come in here. And it's just, because this is a cargo van, if you think about it. It's just being customized for a camper van. All right, so we're gonna cut this out, and then we're gonna drill this plastic right there where I made that mark, and finish this up. We might have to do a part 2 on the upholstery, but we'll do this. Okay, let's get drill bit. I might just use a step drill bit on plastic. Sometimes that works okay. That way we don't have to get a million drill bits. We can just get this right here is a step drill bit. But we got this one just in case. Let's get our drill. Now, you want to get on camera for a minute? Here. All right, Nova, come here. Get some camera time. Okay. So right here is where we got our and if you're afraid you're going to drill the hole wrong, just remember you can go and get these parts from Ford if you mess up. All right, how big is it? All right, so technically it only has to be as big as the camera. So what can we get away with here? We only want to take out what we need because we don't want this to be a place where a lot of stuff's coming through. With these step drill bits, sometimes you have to drill it out on both sides. So we'll do the front side first. Then we'll flip it around for the back side. Perfect fit. Here, I'll show you guys. See the hole? We got a perfect fit. So the camera's going to come in like that. And we can actually, we'll just go ahead and mount the camera because we're going to need to know how we're going to plug this cable in the back here. Let's get the bracket. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and we need a precision screwdriver to get this mounted to the bracket. So this little bracket will come off. And then all you got to do is put this back on. Wait a minute, what is it doing here? Why is it doing that? Okay. So I need it to be like that, but I think it wants the camera to be like that. But it can't be like that because there's no room for the camera. Okay, this might work. I had to bend the bracket. Good Lord, come on. Okay. I think I found the answer here. These screws they're microscopic. There's two brackets that look exactly the same. One of them has holes that are not threaded. The other one has holes that are threaded. The holes that are threaded come with the unit. The little baggie, the same bracket that looks like an extra piece, actually has the wider non-threaded option. So now we can take this come on. Oh my goodness. Hopefully this is entertaining for you guys. This is all the behind the scenes stuff that you never see. Sometimes the live stream goes smooth and sometimes it takes forever. Goodness. Yeah, you have to have a lot of patience with stuff like this because it's very thin stamped metal. Very thin hardware. We'll also have to adjust this, obviously, later. But All right, I gotta get a different tool set. That is not working. So if you go to Harbor Freight, you can get something that looks like this. These things are awesome. They're precision, but they got a bigger handle on it, so you can get down on this just a little bit harder. Okay, we got the 2 screws in. Let's get back to business here. Yeah, I know it's easier now to tighten this up and get this ready than if I have everything else on here. Okay. It's pretty good. All right, back where we were. So let's go ahead and just get this screwed on. Go ahead and put our camera cable through. Cable is going above the bracket. The way that the camera wire sticks out, I'm going to do this as if, John and Susan are putting their tag on here. So I can see if this is going to work. All right, so it looks like we need to make our hole higher. Our hole is too low. So we're just going to elongate it, because if we don't, the wire is going to pinch when we have an actual license plate installed. So that's the details that really matter. Because if we wait till they put the license plate on and then we don't see that it's pinching and it cuts the camera, then we think the camera's broke. Let's see if we can get the camera through that. Yeah, that's really good. It's a very tight fit. So that's perfect. I would have gone down, but I think it's better if I don't take the middle out of this one. I just leave it just like this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because this is all custom at the end of the day. This is not... just have to do step by step as you go. Okay. So this is just our temporary tag. And let's see, even if they have a little trim ring, so that's okay. So that will still work and not pinch. It's really close, but we can't go up any higher because we start to get in the radius of the plastic, and we don't want to do that. That messes with the... we just don't want to do it. I don't know what to say. All right. Yeah, we can't go... this is where it has to be. Because the camera in the middle cannot go up any higher. That's as high as it can go. So you're going to have these little ears stick down, but there's that one. And I'll clean this up for them when we get done with the van. This is just... we're just installing wires right now. We can fix this. We can change this. We can make this whole thing work. The wire is what... this is the most important thing tonight. So that's already pinching. So we're just going to do the basic license plate. So this metal or plastic, so we can't do that. So this would be a regular license plate. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. So just a clean, regular license plate will allow us to hide the bracket behind there. We will not pinch the wire. There's that. Okay, we got our camera in here. All right, so that's pretty much, that is the install. And then all we got to do is align the camera just a little bit. Okay, that looks really good. Finally, we can move on. Let's go ahead and take our plastic grommet. Okay, see that? Got an excellent seal on this. So now we can just snake that through there to the other side. And we'll probably just have to masking tape this because we just need to get some of these fittings. So hopefully we can grab the wire. Okay, so good news, we got the wire through, and we're just gonna pull it through one of these holes and all right, this is just temporary. It's just temporary snapping back in. We'll have to worry about the rest of this later. Okay, so here's our cable. All right, now let's get this done. This was the main part. Okay, so that was pretty tough to get that in there. So this is where you don't skimp on the electrical tape. Make sure you got a really nice bit of electrical tape on here. And you kind of want to make like a little nose on it so it doesn't get caught in all these ripples. That's what made this hard in the first place. I think that, yes, just do all the way to the end. You can always buy more duct electrical tape, but trying to get this pulled through is pretty challenging. All right, so let's see here. This is all right, I thought this extension cable actually had a different fitting so that you could just expand this plug, because this goes into the Wolfbox itself. It goes on the top of it. But it looks like that is not true. So the extender, let's see what the difference is. Okay, it looks like the extension is maybe 10 feet longer. Just eyeballing it. Okay, so we're definitely using the extension. So just a heads up, when you buy this, the extension is its own cable. It doesn't add to the one that they supply from the factory. So we're gonna have to take all this tape back off. Yeah, just double check before you go pull this all through, because you'll waste a bunch of time with something like this. We want to do it the first time and not go back. All right. So that's the one that came with the kit, and then this is the one that the camera is plugging into. That's extended by 10 feet. It might be 15 feet. All right, so we need to see the arrow. All right, we see the arrow, and then we need to find the other arrow and plug them in. Okay, so this one, the pin is bent on the inside, so you just gotta be really careful with this stuff. Why is that bent? Yeah. It is bent. Oh. Yeah, we don't want to force it. So let's see. Okay, good. All right, so that went in there. Now we're going to tape it shut. All right, can we? We're gonna get this a little bit of slack. We're not gonna do too much. We just need to get enough slack to where we can pull out that back part, because we're not gonna be able to unplug it unless you pull the whole entire door panel off. So this. right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this stream up. Yeah, this definitely took a lot longer than anticipated. So we're still not finished with it because I need to go inside the van. Okay. All right, let's close this out. So this is only going to make it with maybe 2 to 3 feet of excess cable, which is really not a lot. So you're going to have to be really careful bringing this to the driver's side. So it's going to take me a little bit longer to do this, to the point where, well, yeah, we got to knock this out because we got to get this back upholstered. Yeah, so we'll finish this up after I turn the camera off. I'm just going to take this wire and I'm going to mount the Wolfbox, and then from the Wolfbox we're going to make sure we keep it just as tight as can be, going from there all the way to the back, because it is it's just going to make it. And that is the extension cable. So the extension cable does not add to the cable that's already in the box, because we bought all the kits and it does not extend. The extension is its own thing. But yeah, we're gonna finish it up. Gonna do it the right way, and then tomorrow we will we'll figure out what we're doing tomorrow. May get to this upholstery. We might do that tomorrow. So I think we're gonna save it tomorrow. I'm gonna finish up getting the Wolfbox in tonight, and then tomorrow we'll just review on what prep we're gonna get done for the upholstery. So it will be a part 2 video. All right. All right, guys, if you have watched this stream this long, I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are subscribed, like this video if you enjoyed it, as far as getting a deep dive into installing this Wolfbox. So it's a little bit challenging on the Ford Transit, and that's only because of all the weather seals and stuff like that. If you're putting this in a normal car, like in a trunk, it's much easier to just run it right under the carpet, into the trunk, pop it into the back of the license plate. Not only that, we're doing a custom van, so we want to make sure all the wires are concealed, everything's nice and neat. So yeah, just a little bit more challenges than expected on this install. We're going to finish up running the wire tonight, get everything knocked out. If you guys have any questions, make sure you put those in the chat when we're doing a live stream, as well as in the comments when we're done, and I'm happy to get to those questions. I'll be happy to get to those questions in a future video, so I always look out to answer those questions in comments for you. Also, check out DIY, the DIY van build cheat sheet on our website, vanbuilderhq.com. So the DIY van build cheat sheet, it's an excellent way to get kick-started with your van build conversion. It's an Excel sheet of the last 3 years of all of my shop purchases that I've done from Amazon. So if there's something on Amazon I needed for the shop or a build, it is on that DIY van build cheat sheet. The best part is it's over 250 curated items, and it is completely free for you guys to download. So just put your name and email address, and it'll be sent right to your inbox. And I think it'll really help you out on your DIY van build, get your kick started, a couple of products that I like, and stuff that I've actually used in the shop. DIY van build cheat sheet, link in description below. Also find it on vanbuilderhq.com. And let's see here. We've got Odyssey Custom Van. That's my van conversion business. And this van right here, as of filming this, is currently for sale. This is our spec build for the shop. We took to Adventure Van Expo in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It was awesome. Here's a little video to run through the van. We got some more info here about all the stuff that's inside the van, as well as photos. We haven't done the fancy video where we do a van tour yet, but that is coming very soon. We'll do that as soon as we get back from the Peace, Love, and Vans event that we're going to in Florida. So if you guys want to join us, say hi. We'll be at Peace Loving Vans February 16th through 19th. It's at Withlacoochee River Park in Florida. That is right out, it's between Orlando and Tampa pretty much. But yeah, check it out. The camping tickets are sold out this year, but the day pass tickets, yeah, get a day pass ticket, come to the event. It's really awesome. There are tons of vans. I did a YouTube video where there were over 300 vans at this event, and yeah, pretty awesome. But definitely check out, where am I going here? Yeah, check out Peace Loving Vans. Awesome event. Got a lot of event. They've got music, food, vendors, plus everyone that has vans, RVs, and it's a really cool event. So check that out. But you can see us there. This van will be at that show. It's the last show I'm probably going to take this van to before it is sold. And by the way, if you are interested in purchasing this van, you can contact me, sales@odysseycustomvans.com, or you can click, that's my office number. The best way is this link right here. So the one that I'm clicking on right now, that is the best link. It'll schedule a phone call on my calendar. Just pick a date and time, and we'll hop on a phone call. Over here on the left-hand side, we've got information that if you're not interested in the vans that are currently for sale on our website, but you want to have your own personal van conversion put together just like we're doing for John and Susan, this right here is the way to do it. You can just read this. It'll prep you kind of for the call, the consultation. Do the same thing, pick a date, pick a time, and we will hop on a call to talk about your custom van conversion. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this live stream. I know it's super long, but hey, custom vans take time. We're going to get to more stuff tomorrow in the live stream, so don't forget to join us then. Click that notification bell so you're notified as soon as I come live, because typically it is around the 2 to 5 o'clock range. So get notified when I go live so you don't miss out. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow on the live stream, and we'll see you then.